Downstream from Belgrade, the Danube plunges into the Iron Gates Gorge, forming the border between Romania and Serbia in the former Yugoslavia. In the 1960s, the two communist regimes cooperated in the construction of the Iron Gates dams to provide hydroelectric power. These dams effectively cut the river in two.
More serious problem than municipal wastewater is industrial waste and agricultural waste. Particularly dangerous it is in the case of reservoirs. Here we are talking about Iron Gate reservoir, and nutrients being discharged into Danube. We hate to say that, but it is trap for pollution coming from Yugoslavia. Due to the dam and impoundment of water, flow velocities are reduced, pollution settles at the bottom of the river. As a consequence, we have rather good quality, except at the very bottom, where we have pretty bad quality, and the sludge at the bottom, some people say, is environmental time bomb.
For decades now, the EU's Common Agricultural Policy has subsidised intensive farming methods and the use of herbicides, pesticides and fertilisers. These chemicals break down very slowly. If they're released into the Danube upriver in Germany and Austria, they will eventually find their way into the waters downstream. But there are alternative ways.
In 1986, my husband wanted to find a new way to run the farm, and so he was very interested in the organic idea, even more because he had problems with his health when he had to use lots of fertilizer, mineral fertilizers and all the stuff that is necessary for very modern and high-producing agriculture. Well, we are now at the ditch. This is a natural frontier between the fields of our farm, that are organic farms, and the fields of our neighbor, who is not organic farms. You see the difference exactly now, the colors. We have a light green color in our wheat. He has a dark green color. You see the plants, they're not so high. He has very high and strong wheat plants. You see also that we have weeds inside. He has got not one single weed inside. And so this is the consequence of the farm production of organic way. We don't use fertilizer, we don't use pesticides or mineral fertilizers. The farm next door is increasing with all his production. It's also increasing with the input of the agrochemistry. In comparison with our fields, a very heavy or very strong rain may even bring a very strong emission of phosphates and chemistry into the ditch, and that's what goes along the rivers down to the Danube.
The ditches, streams and rivers which flow into the Danube to form the Danube River Basin cover 1/10 of the landmass of continental Europe and provide drinking water to a large part of its population.
Nobody can deny that the Common Agricultural Policy with, I would say, excessive subsidies as it is designed also have created a lot of problems, environmental problems, and including the nitrates problem. It is important, of course, to reform the Common Agricultural Policy in such a way that we do not invite the new member states to repeat the mistakes made by the old member states, so to say. And of course, they have an advantage in that they have not been using so much of pesticides or fertilizers, and they have not had a very intensive agricultural sector. I hope we can keep that at a good level, and that they integrate also the environmental aspect into the necessary reforming of their agricultural sector.
The countries of the Danube, and particularly the downstream countries, are at our crossroads at the moment with respect to the development opportunities. There has been a reduction of the use of fertilizers and pesticides in the country simply because the money's not there to use them. the chance is there that they could convert those agriculture to more biological, less intensive methods, or the pressures that are existing are to intensify the agriculture, and the Common Agricultural Policy is promoting a more intensive agriculture that will potentially expand the use of fertilizers, pesticides, that would have a negative consequence for the Danube.
Control of nutrient is a very important aspect of water quality control at Danube River. However, a certain amount of nutrients is definitely being discharged into this country coming from Hungary, and also we are discharging certain amount of nutrients downstream from Yugoslavia. Yeah, endpoint of all nutrients is the Danube Delta, which is a fantastic natural resource, and I believe that that's a good reason for efforts to keep nutrients under control.
As the EU expands its agricultural and transport policies into Eastern Europe, environmentalists and scientists are increasingly concerned for the health of the Danube, all the way downstream to the Delta and the Black Sea.
4 more Danube countries have joined the European Union. And for 2007, another 2 are supposed to be joining. That means that most of the Danube's agriculture will suddenly find itself subject to European Union directives. This is a double-edged sword. The reason is that, on one hand, European environmental legislation is extremely helpful in improving the status of our water. On the other hand, the introduction of the Common Agricultural Policy, if it isn't done extremely carefully, will increase the amount of, the intensity of farming, the amount of fertilizers that are applied, particularly in the lower Danube countries, and this will present an enormous burden on the Danube yet again. This is the river's kidney. This is the place where a lot of the things that come down the river can be cleaned up. It's the last chance for the river to clean itself before it flows into the Black Sea. And being such a beautiful place, everybody, I think, will agree that it has to be preserved, not just for its function, but for humanity.